Okay, I'm not looking again. I was just thinking about Jesus again and what he's all about and why he was able to meet people and say very few words and get them to completely alter the course of their daily life, right? He meets the disciples in the boats, they're fishing, and he just comes up and he's like, hey, y'all want to fish for people? And they're like, yeah. And then they follow him, right? That's kind of crazy. Or like the lady at the well, you know, he goes there and they talk about having water or nothing to scoop water with, and they have a very brief exchange, and he basically just says, hey, I know you're promiscuous and the man you're with is not your husband. And somehow that changes everything, right, for this woman. Somehow that changes everything. These little brief, almost instant conversations. What's happening? What's happening that's changing these people instantly into this other thing? Well, what's happening is that Jesus is seeing them. He's looking deep into them. He's looking past whatever kind of caste system type of thing was in place at the time. He's looking past the ideas of taxpayer and tax collector. He's looking past the discrepancies and the differences and the othering that they were doing at the time. And he's saying, no, at the core of who you are, I see your desire. I see your hurt. I see your special, perfect quality that's the divinity that lives in you. And I call it out. I call it out into the real world. That's what he's doing. In these tiny little brief encounters, somehow he's connecting so deeply with the truest essence of what these people are and what they felt called to do in the world. And they felt trapped by the system they were in until he showed up and he said, no, wake up to this. You will be fishers of men. He says, no, wake up to this. You saw me raise the dead. You saw me move mountains, or you saw me walk on water and turn water into wine. He says, no, you guys are going to do greater things than me. Watch. You know, they're saying, hey, Jesus, your parents and your brothers and sisters are out here. And he looks around, he says, these are my brothers and sisters. What's going on with all this? Jesus is calling out the divine piece of what we are as human beings. He's calling us out into the story, and he's saying, look at me as an example and follow me. Do this too, right? Love these people too. So what's the entry point there? What does it mean, right? And he keeps saying, bring the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Well, I think that's how you build the kingdom of heaven. You build the kingdom of heaven by having real, actual encounters with real, actual people. Even if they're strangers on a seashore doing fishing, right? You can have a conversation in the real here and now that draws out the true essence of that person's spirit and love and whatever you call that, right? Whatever you want to call that. You can draw it out by talking and by seeing deeply into their soul, past what their clothes are, past what their skin color is, past what they say their gender is. You can go past all of that, and you can see the essence, the true godly, divine, forgiving and forgiven essence and spirit of a person. And when you acknowledge that out loud to a person meaningfully, because you have it too, and you have love for that person, and that person has that you love them, and they exist in this way that you know you're connected. And that's what Jesus is doing in these moments. That's why he can get people to completely change their lives. He can get that woman at the well to run around all over the place and saying, come and see a man who told me everything I've ever done. What is that? That's a man who sees who you are and calls it out and says, you see the negative parts of you? And he says, no, I see the divine parts of you. I am calling out the divine parts of you. That's what Jesus is doing. He's speaking these spirits into existence, into a new birth, right? He tells Nicodemus that you have to be born in a different way. It's not the same as being born of the flesh. He's calling out the spiritual birth of these people by seeing the true essence inside of them and lovingly, out of love, nurturing it out of them and then showing them how to use it. I hope this resonates with somebody. It really feels like something to me. Build a 3D model of it, interact with it, play around with it in your head, see how it fits over the framework of your own life and your own experience. Jesus is the answer, but sometimes we need to go back and reimagine what it is we're looking at with an open mind and an open heart and that 3-dimensional model. We need to do that sometimes. Maybe now's the time. Maybe we need to do this now more than ever.